Ross, the boss, really putting his stamp on Moorabbin in what is his take 2 appearance.
He did, and it was a fast start by the Saints. They kicked the first 5 goals, and they were hungry around the football. So when he took over Ross Lyon, he talked about it. It's not about the list. It's not about what I've got at my disposal. He goes, I'll back my game plan in. And we've seen it for the first 2 weeks. His game plan is enormous pressure. And then they moved the ball a lot quicker than what they did last week against Fremantle this week. So Ross backing in his game plan, and it's got the Saints up and about. First 5 goals, Lloyd.
Amazing performance by St Kilda. I've never seen the Bulldogs look so fumbly. You know, I know they were poor last year for periods, but it's a perceived pressure. So St Kilda's tackling was amazing, but it's a perceived pressure that this puts on the Western Bulldogs. So even Hugo Hagan, I've seen him fumble so many times last night when he's looking to scoop up the footy, and then they were off and they were away. St Kilda didn't move the ball this aggressively probably under Ross Lyon the first time around, but they're doing both facets of the play. Dale, he's going, OK, what St Kilda players coming at me next? So again, a nervous moment for Bailey Dale in that situation. Hugo Hagan fumbles again, bang, Battle just hits him, and there was no real winners at all for the Western Bulldogs in this game. Even this one, you see Butler wants him to play on because he's just ready to pounce on Liam Jones as well. So 74 tackles from the Saints last night. It was absolutely outstanding. It just went on and on and on. Even Bradley Hill, everyone wants to buy into this from St Kilda. How long it lasts will be interesting, TJ, but it's been a wonderful start.
Well, I want to ask Kane about that because you have gone on record as to say it won't last, it can't last. But weren't we saying that about Collingwood last year?
I'm not exactly sure I said it can't last. It's just it's a taxing way to play, and you got to admire it. Like, that vision is amazing, and it goes to show what you can do when you get your players buying into a game
But you did
plan.
say they can't sustain
I think it's going to be difficult to sustain that for a long season, particularly when it gets through winter, and they'll need to come up with a way to win a different way. But I thought their midfield was terrific. Like, they smashed the Western Bulldogs, who have much more famous names in there, and Rowan Marshall was the catalyst for that. If they can do that each week, which is difficult, they'll be a tough team to beat. But
they've still
I feel
got some
like
big name players to come back.
Yeah, they got some big ones. Max King's still a fair way away. Memory will come back as well, which is really going to help. But look, I don't want to be negative about St Kilda this morning because their first 2 weeks have been terrific.
Do you need to be negative about the Western Bulldogs?
I think we do, yeah.
We've seen this before under Luke Beveridge's watch. Early in season, sometimes they can be slow to start and they can get it together. But what we saw last week against Melbourne was repeated last night against St Kilda. I would argue more worryingly even than the first week.
So this will be the story of the week, is Luke Beveridge and the Western Bulldogs, because there's no excuses with this list now. We've heard for a couple of years, they don't have key position defenders. Well, you do, because you were gifted Sam Darcy in the draft. You've chosen to play him forward. Liam Jones comes in through the trade period. There is no excuses. He hasn't been able to come up with a defensive game plan that is, in line with modern football and the way that the best teams play. The concern is they've got Brisbane, Richmond, Port in Adelaide, and then Fremantle in Perth. The prospect of them going 0-5 or 0-6 is real. They concede far too many goals in a row in clusters, and we've seen that in big games. And their fitness has to be questioned as well.
They'd have to be bottom 3 to defend through the midfield. I think they've got a wonderful midfield when they've got the football attacking, but that many times they get beaten out at the front of the stoppage, and then so easy does the ball go through that middle part of the ground. The Dogs just can't stop it. So whether they're not being taught that or they can't implement it, I think they're bottom 3.
15th last year they were defending that, and I guess the decision to extend Luke Beveridge in the off-season is questionable as well. I'm not sure, and I said it at the time, what the benefit of that would have been. He's got to the end of this year. I'm not sure why they pulled the trigger so early.